Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pointless Motorsports podcast. You've got points. We don't. I'm Paige.
I'm SK. It's a great day to be a race fan, and this is the fastest yap.
Let's talk about Omni.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what OmniFantasy is, do you want to give a quick pitch?
For those of you who aren't insane like we are, there's this wonderful monstrosity called OmniFantasy where there are 16 different sports at the same time. Um, you pick either a player or a team. I'm not drafting a quarterback, a tight end, or whatever other positions there are in football. I know football so well. I am drafting an entire football team. And the draft starts as soon as the Super Bowl ends. And it's a slow draft, so it takes a few weeks. So we are currently in drafting season, which is the best time of year. All of those Christmas songs you hear talking about it's the most wonderful time of the year, they're actually Omni songs.
Yeah, it's true. This is about to be week 2. This is the end of week 1 of the draft.
Yeah.
Most of us are in like round 4.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that.
mine's in six.
Okay. Um,
Yours is also in six, Paige.
what? Listen, it just got to 6 today in my defense. It has not been. And yesterday I panicked because it was Valentine's Day and I wasn't expecting to have to make a pick. Um,
Yeah, we
anyways,
have our youngest draft. Our slowest draft is in round 4, and our speediest draft, E2's in 8.
32. Jeez. Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the E-leagues. Anyways, for the uninitiated, Omni Fantasy, we have exponentially grown this league every year since its inception by our dear friends over at the Omni Fantasy podcast. Um, so if you want more
Omnipod
information about Omni, you can check that out. Um,
or Omni dot.
or Omni.rodeo if you want to keep up with the draft. This is how we got into Formula One, which is like such an insane story that we've already told at another
Yeah,
time. Um, but we want to talk about the F1 side of the Omni draft.
yeah. I have still not drafted an F1 driver, and I don't think that I will next round either. In my league, Max, George, Lando, Oscar, and Kimmy have been taken, and I don't feel confident about most of the drivers, so
Like
I
further
think I'm
down the
gonna just
list.
keep leaving it out.
Anything could really happen. Yeah, in mine, George, Max, Lando, and then I took Oscar, and that was the last one that's been taken so far.
I am
But
vaguely salty that Lando and Oscar went to one person, and that one person was not me.
rude. You also had a chance to pick, and you didn't.
Hey, well, it was smarter to pick other things, okay?
We'll see what
Don't.
happens. We'll see what happens. That was me last year, and it absolutely, like, it did pay
It,
off, but it didn't.
it didn't pay off as it should have.
Should have been an 80-50.
McLaren's fault.
Problem
Anyways,
for rant for another day. I have seen a few people pick Fernando, which
yes.
surprised me a little bit.
Well, I know one of the people that picked Fernando, and I know that he doesn't really know much about F1, and I do think Fernando was the next one on odds, probably at the time
I
that he took him.
believe that he's the next one up after Oscar,
Yeah.
which is
And
interesting.
are we going to touch on who got drafted first round, first pick?
My dear friend Adam chose Charles out the gate, 101, first pick, first everything. If he gets the 80 with that, he's gonna look like a genius, and he's never gonna let us live it down.
No, here's the thing. Even if he gets the 80 with that, he's not going to look like a genius because Charles could have been taken so much later.
I don't know.
And he could have taken a sure bet of like Alcaraz or the Dodgers.
In his defense, being being the record-holding lowest Omni score player ever to exist, there is a bit of a learning curve, so we'll let it slide on this one. Sometimes you take
Mm,
your faves
only
first
kind
round.
only kind of let it slide.
Sometimes you take your favorites first round and you don't won't
Blackhawks.
understand the
Excuse me.
consequences. You don't understand the consequences of it until much later,
Until you do.
but it's okay. That being said, we did shoot out an opportunity for some of our Omni friends to ask us some motorsports related questions. Um, so we will go through those and hopefully we can all learn something new together. I know I did when I was researching some of this. And yeah, you guys can learn a little bit more about Formula One and NASCAR, which is our two motorsports in Omni. First question that we had from Nathaniel about F1, why does F1 only have two drivers per team?
Because,
Because I said so.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
That is the rule. I did not make the. My guess is to make it fair and also because it's very expensive to have anything in Formula One.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
they
they,
used to have like an extra car, not more than two drivers, but an extra car. And so like if your car went bad and you could make it back to the pits, you could hop in that extra one and get back on the track.
could be
But they don't
cool.
have that anymore. So,
Yeah, but also to keep like the super rich teams from totally dominating, having,
which I think
six
is also
cars
why they
out
got,
there.
which I think is also why they got rid of the third car.
Yeah, because then you'd have no hope whatsoever to be, those last five or six teams.
Just give Max five cars.
He'd probably score more points with just him and five cars.
Exactly.
No offense to Isaac.
No offense at all to Isaac. He's just not Max Verstappen.
Nobody else is.
Exactly.
Hunter asks, how long do we think it will take for Cadillac to be competitive?
Good question. Who knows?
Certainly not us. Off to a really great start with these
Right? Like
questions.
it's like with testing, like you don't know. Like testing is telling us like we get some information, but it's basically nothing. We won't know
And
until like what?
oh, I was gonna say, and most of the teams are lying. So
Yeah,
even if you
correct.
think you know, you don't know.
No. So we won't know for real until race day. Well, no, until qualifying in Australia. We'll get to see
Eh,
stuff in qualifying. We're not gonna see for real stuff in practice. We'll get to see if they're quicker, but like they could still be sandbagging in those points. Sometimes they are, so that other teams don't do the same specifications with their car and optimize it for this thing or that thing. So who knows, truly.
Yeah.
We won't know
Um,
until qualifying and race in Australia.
and even then, with the reliability issues that they
Yeah.
seem to have been having, kind of not even just Cadillac, but across the board, who knows? Who knows if they'll even get off the line?
Yeah, I think it's a great year for them to enter because of the
Hmm.
new regs, and everyone could be, who knows what's going to happen, who knows what's going to go on. And so, like, it's a great thing to be figuring it out for the first time when everyone else is a seasoned team has been there, but is figuring out the new regulations too. So they won't be as behind as if they would have been if they'd come in like last year.
Yeah, you're not coming in at the bottom. Everybody's kind of on an even playing field and trying to figure all of this out at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that was smart of them. And you've got two drivers that have race winning experience, have lots of experience. So I think you have that to your advantage as well. You're not trying to
Yeah.
train a new driver how to
And
pilot a new car.
I think it's also probably helpful for them that they have two drivers that were second drivers. So they're not like ego fighting for I am the number one driver, treat me, but like they are used to seating for this reason or that reason. And I think that's probably going to be really helpful in a brand new team.
I think they're going to be good team players together. As far as like doing what is best for the team as a constructor, because we don't
Yeah.
know what the competition's gonna look like for the drivers, but also that I'm wondering now too, both Checo and Valtteri were not on the grid last year, so I wonder how much extra simulator time they've had with the new
Yeah.
engine and the new setup
Yeah.
to kind of mess with that while everybody else was busy with last year's season.
Yeah.
and kind of help with the
Um,
development, that could be really key as well.
yeah, definitely.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that team. I'm excited to see how it goes, but we really just don't know what
Yeah,
anything is going to be, let alone them specifically.
yeah,
I think it depends on money, income, sponsorships,
yeah,
resources. It's going to build for a couple of years, I would say.
yeah. I, regardless of if they start strong or not, they will get better in the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
But Hunter, ask us this question again in like a month, and we'll have more of an answer.
Maybe. Our next question from Mary, do NASCAR and F1 seasons coincide? When does it start?
Not purposefully coinciding.
Sundays are for racing,
Yeah, except for when they aren't in F1.
or except for sometimes when it's Saturday.
Except for sometimes when it's Saturday, but somewhere it's Sunday.
True. Yeah, NASCAR started today actually. So Daytona
Yeah,
500, that's come and gone. The season's officially underway there. They will race just about every week until November. And then
yeah,
Formula One, I believe it comes out to pretty close to every other week until December, starting,
in 3 weeks.
woo, March
And
8th.
there's also, yeah, they'll do either like a every other week, they'll do a 2 weeks in a row with a week off, or a 3 weeks in a row with a week off. And then there's a summer break that's usually like a month, and it's like summer shutdown. They have to stop. Nobody's allowed to do anything with the cars. They have to take a break.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's usually like July, August, somewhere in
yeah,
there.
which I do love for them.
I think NASCAR has like a 1 week break at some point, but I don't know more than that. So yeah, they do happen at the same time, and we're getting started.
Yeah, we
Stay
are.
tuned.
Let's go. Also, you didn't ask about it, but IndyCar will also start soon.
Yes.
I think they start the first
Next,
week of March.
I think it's next. Oh no, you are right. Yeah, the first weekend of March.
And they have a rudely short season.
Like
Um,
mid-summer, I feel like it ends.
yeah, they don't like, I don't think that they have any breaks during season, or maybe they do have like a week off or something like that here and there, but they're done in like August or something.
There's a couple week breaks and a summer break actually.
Oh, okay. I was gonna win the championship this year. It's fine.
I hope so.
He's gonna get the title. It's fine.
Um,
We cannot go to the Indy 500 together because every time we've gone to a race in person, our driver's gotten P2. So therefore, we can't go to the Indy 500 until after Pato wins it.
exactly. Mary also asked, what are the vibes of each motorsport? I put F1 and NASCAR in here for the Omni people, but then I also am going to throw in IndyCar just because I want to.
For next year's Omni.
Yeah. Um, which one do you want to start with?
I mean, F1's first on your list.
Yeah.
F1 is for the richest of the rich. It is the very fancy, the very elite. Everything costs so much money all of the time. Like, if you want to go into the paddock, you need to have thousands of dollars at your disposal. And that's just getting in. That's nothing else, not a single other thing. That's just getting in there. It's very, very expensive, not easily accessible in person. But they want that. So like even in the advertisements, the merchandising, like they are all going to also be that very luxury, that very expensive. So look for sales if you want merch. I got this very cheap. Or do what Franco Colapinto said and just buy bootleg merch. Don't buy the real stuff.
Oh, you love a frugal king.
Truly. But those are going to be like the elitist of the elite of the race cars. Like they call it the pinnacle of motorsport. Does everyone necessarily agree with that? No. But is it widely agreed on? Yes.
It's also one of the most international in
Yeah,
both you have drivers from everywhere. We are going to races in almost every continent at some
RIP
point.
Africa.
Maybe they'll come back, but I mean, you're at Globe Trotting. You've got, these are your Louis Vuitton sponsors, your Rolex, your anything expensive name brand things that you could think of.
Like in Monaco, they're literally watching the race from their yachts. If you want a vibe of what F1 is, just look at pictures of Monaco,
Yeah,
regardless of if the race is there. That's the vibe of F1.
yeah. Everything is expensive. Also, the cars are a lot more delicate than any other series.
Yeah,
There's a lot of engineering that goes into it. Obviously, a lot of funding and money that goes into the technology and the manufacturing behind it.
yeah.
Um, but if you tap the wall, it will rip the wing off your car. So it's kind of a balance.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of focus on like the factory and like the whole team whenever there's wins. Like the people back at the factory, the crew that's there, the race engineers, like everyone plays a huge part in getting that car there, getting that car to be what it is. Like obviously there's the drivers' championship, so a driver will win it. Like Max Verstappen is definitely the best driver on the grid and still didn't win it last year because his car was not the best made one. So it is very much a team sport in that way.
Hmm. It's
Because the build of the
equally
car matters
important.
so much.
Yeah, the car is equally as important as who is driving the car. You can't
Yeah.
really have one without the other.
Yeah.
Um, I'll probably be able to speak on the vibe of NASCAR a little bit better after next
Yes.
week. But for now, my impression of it, and this, I feel like I get the general vibe. NASCAR is, if you've ever watched the Cars movie, that's
Yeah.
NASCAR. Um, it is very American. It is very elbows out, rough around the edges. They're gonna get into a fist fight on the side of the track. Um,
Literally.
No, literally. And these cars are freaking indestructible, man. I was watching the Daytona 500 today, and they would like slam it into the wall to the back of another car. You're spinning all the way around, and then you come back and you're still in like 14th place out of 40.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
there's the one dude that like literally rammed it into the side of the wall and just floored it, and car still drivable.
yeah. So this is like almost the direct opposite of Formula One. So it's a stock
Yeah.
car or like like a normal road car, two-seater car, and it looks like a sports car. It is practically indestructible, if not held together by duct tape.
Sometimes literally.
It's a little scrappier, I would say, is a good
Yeah.
word for it.
Yeah.
The races are longer, and there is a big variety of different tracks that they do race on. So everybody thinks, well, yeah, NASCAR, you just turn left. Um, you do mostly, but sometimes you also turn right. There's big ovals and small ovals and super speedways, but then there's also road courses, which looks a little bit more like F1, where you're going around a circuit rather than an oval.
Yeah.
That also has an element of, again, the team aspect. The drivers do have teams. They do have all the same, not the same sponsors, but different sponsors, but they have lots of sponsors. They're very vocal about thanking them rather than the
Yeah.
factory team. It's more about, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, and then their main title sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah.
More accessible, but still, this is American motorsport. There are some non-American drivers, but American motorsport
Yeah.
in that like this is the motorsport version of your NFL or your MLB or like whatever professional
Yeah.
sports league in the US. This is like the top of that in the country.
Yeah. It's also like very, they make it vocally Christian and that they start with prayer every single time. Every single time they're gonna start with prayer, and after the prayer, they will tell you to start your engines.
And then the vibe of IndyCar, if you want to take that one.
Kind of like a bit of a mix between the two. Definitely leaning more NASCAR like though. It still feels very American, but it's a single seater car. And so there's like a more F1 element to it. The cars look a lot more similar to an F1 car. No, nothing about the amount of drivers they're allowed to have. It's some teams have very few drivers, some teams have many drivers.
Generally two or three for
Yeah.
NASCAR.
Sometimes four.
For the
Um,
500, I think you can have an
for the
extra.
500, you're gonna have drivers that don't race the rest of the season and are just there to race the 500. When it comes to the Indy 500, a lot of races are 500s. When anyone says the 500, it is Indy 500. A lot of drivers will come in and just do the 500. Um, a lot of people will watch IndyCar, but really only the 500 and not much else.
Which you're
Um,
missing out on a lot. And
yes, you are. It's so fun.
there
Um,
are, the Indy 500 is great and it is enjoyable to watch, but there are
yeah,
also many other fun things about IndyCar besides that that people are missing out on.
correct.
But
Um,
also, I feel like we need to gatekeep it.
maybe, unless it's going to be added into Omni, and then the gates are open.
The gates are open to Omni. I'm just saying we need to gatekeep from the rest of the world in that, like, the more
Um,
people that
and
want to come to this, we're not going to be able to get $50 paddock passes anymore.
yeah. Yeah. Also, so accessible. So accessible. We got $50 paddock passes and met so many of the drivers. And it was so
Just,
chill. We
yeah.
waved hi to Nolan so many times. And honestly, I think he liked it because like it was just hi. And like we didn't stop him except for the one time. Like we just let him go. We were just like, "Oh, hello, Nolan." Like we were good pals. We were dear friends.
That is my good personal friend, Nolan Siegel. What do you mean?
Okay, it feels like on a college campus when you're like you have different friend groups, but you're hanging out with this one friend group right now, but then you see a friend from another group, so you're not gonna like go over there and like ditch your other friends. So you're just, oh hey, that's how it feels in the paddock.
It's kind of awesome. I really love it. Mary's other question that she had for us was what surprised you the most about the series when you were first learning about it? She was asking again for Omni purposes about F1 and NASCAR, but
Yeah.
I'm going to throw IndyCar in there as well. What was most surprising to you about F1?
Well, first of all, that I enjoyed it. I did not think that I would ever enjoy like watching cars go round. And then apart from just liking the sport, um, everything costs so much money, dude. It's so expensive. Like, I think I expected merch and stuff like that to be expensive. I did not expect tickets to be as expensive as they were.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
we went to the cheapest US, I think,
I would say,
uh,
yeah.
and maybe on the like lower end of expenses for all of them, but definitely not the cheapest races. But like general admission, still like $600. That's crazy. That's crazy. So will you hear us yapping about going to F1 races often? No,
No, maybe once per year
absolutely not.
if we're lucky.
Yeah, if we're lucky once a year. IndyCar, we could easily follow around. And that's the shocker about IndyCar, how accessible it is, how cheap it was. Because like I had looked at what F1 paddock passes were like, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy expensive. No way I'm gonna be able to do it. And then I saw it on the website for like $50, and I was like, no, something's wrong. It's missing at least a zero.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm
Um,
sure if you tried to buy that for the Indy 500, it would be a lot different. But
yeah.
for something
But
tiny
like,
like Gateway, if you're going to Milwaukee, if you're going to some of these smaller races, do it.
yeah. I feel like the 500 is probably still cheaper than a majority of F1 races.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Especially since Pato is giving away tickets if you spend $99 in his store. Like,
I don't think there's any left, but if you want to check it out, you can.
there were yesterday, so who knows?
Really? Okay.
Other things about F1 that, like, okay, this is gonna sound so dumb, but that, like, The drivers are like people.
No, I get what you're getting at though.
Like actually meeting them, obviously not accessible, but the F1 drivers themselves like feel more accessible to like get to know than a lot of sports people are. Like they do a majority of them, not all of them, do like a lot of content for their teams and like a lot of interviews or and are like posting stuff themselves. And like it feels like it's a lot easier to get to know them and like them as like a rounded out person rather than just they do good at the drive. Like Lando is my favorite because he was the one that I drafted in our first year, but he's stuck as my favorite because one, fantastic. It's great time supporting him. I love watching him drive. But also, like, I love that he talks out about mental health. I love his silly goofiness. I can see different facets of him as a person. Obviously, I still don't know who he is as a whole, but like the different facets of this person that I'm getting to see, I really like. And that is helpful in like supporting a driver and like I don't think that I would enjoy as much as like if I didn't like I don't know anything about any of the NASCAR drivers, so I feel no connection to any of them right now. I'm going to attempt to get into it this year. We'll see what happens. But if I don't like I don't know, my favorite players and drivers, my favorite sports people have always been like I like them in their sport and then also like when I look at them outside of the sport, I continue to like them.
Yeah, like as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. I think that a lot of what got me into F1, other than like you, us watching the race together, we drafted Lando, was the social media aspect of it. And I think a lot of that has to do with how young most of the field of the drivers is. They've really embraced the social media side of things, whether, well,
Yeah.
embraced might be a strong word, but their teams have embraced the social media side of it, forced them to make
Grudgingly did lip sync videos.
force them to make social media content, but I appreciate it because it does bring people in. It makes them human. It makes them, like you said, accessible. You can see kind of other facets of their life, whether it's golfing or gaming
Yeah.
or fashion or anything like that. It kind of brings a more fully roundedness to them as an more than just an athlete. Watching them interact even with one another, was something that was
Yeah.
really compelling to me is like these are guys that all kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
They've been competing with one another for decades at this point by the time they get there. So they've known each other forever, whether you like them, whether you don't like them. Like you've been
Yeah.
around them for years. And so seeing the different dynamics of how they interact with each other, whether it's for like a stage content video and they're playing some silly game, or it's just like them being friends,
Yeah.
that being able to get a glimpse of their personality makes it feel accessible when it's not.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important aspect
Yeah.
of F1.
And if they aren't drivers that they grew up together racing, like there are photos of them meeting the ones that are older than them when they're children.
Yeah, like the
Um,
drivers that they idolized as kids are their coworkers essentially now.
like Arvid's our new guy this year. We have a video of him a few years ago telling Lando to expect him on the grid in 2026.
Yeah, he said,
Like,
see, he said, for me, I'll be there in 5 years
yeah,
or 4 years,
like
whatever it was.
it's so good. Like you've got this with like all of the younger drivers on the grid. Um, I think anyone younger than 30, there's pictures of them with the drivers in their 40s on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really awesome. Yeah, so I think that was I was going to echo what you said too about NASCAR is I don't know each of them very well, but the ones that I do know are because of social media
Yeah,
so far. And they're the younger drivers that have a presence there because that's how I feel connected with people at least.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting to kind of see. Like I don't know a lot of like the legacy of these older drivers in NASCAR, but it'll be interesting as the season plays out to see what shakes out. and who I am impressed with, who I
Yeah.
like or dislike, things like that. Yeah, I already kind of talked about NASCAR. What surprised me with NASCAR is just how like indestructible the cars are compared to
Yeah.
F1. That's crazy to me. F1, yeah, the money. What else drew me into it, going off of like their almost like their interpersonal relationships, is the team dynamic where you are competing with your teammate, but you're working with your teammate, and like how do you balance that dynamic is really compelling to me.
Enemies to lovers.
Only sometimes.
Hunter had another question for us. What's the deal with NASCAR teams? Doesn't matter for Omni. Paige, take it away. I don't have a clue.
I don't know a lot about NASCAR yet. We're learning this year. We're going to learn together. Um,
Hunter, why are you asking us? Ask Matt.
because I begged them to ask me questions. That's why. I think the specific question that Hunter was getting at is like, if I draft two drivers from the same team in NASCAR, is that going to positively, negatively affect me in the way of like, if you were going to draft, I don't know,
Land
I'm trying to
Oscar.
think of a good example. Land Oscar is a bad example in
Timmy
this
George.
situation.
Isaac. Max
Yeah.
Isaac.
Or last year, yeah, whatever. Last year, let's go with last year, Max Liam. If you were going to pick one over the other, yes, you're going to want to go with Max because he's the clear number one driver. I would say that there's definitely an experience advantage in NASCAR. There can be up to four cars per team. They don't always run every race, is what I learned today. Some of them, again, just do the Daytona 500 or a couple races and not all of them. Usually it's three cars, sometimes it's four cars per team. There's 15 different teams, and then they have three different manufacturers. So you got Ford, Toyota, and Chevy, which is their version of the manufacturers. So there's a manufacturers competition, there's a team competition, and then a driver competition, if I'm understanding that correctly. In the same way with Formula One, you're sharing data, you're sharing strategy, you have the same resources, you have the same access to whatever mathematics and manufacturing and anything of that nature, that you can kind of help each other. You can give each other toes in qualifying like you do in F1, or you can kind of draft behind one of the cars and pick up a little extra speed. You can give your teammate a shove forward to kind of help overtake if you want. So there's a little bit of strategy game that goes into it. But I think for Omni purposes, I don't think you would be at a disadvantage if you took two drivers from the same team. But I do think that there probably is a pretty fair, clear ranking of like who would be their number one, two, three, just based mostly on experience, I would say, in that situation. They probably are, you're gonna get, you know, your senior drivers are going to get priority strategy. They're going to get a little bit more resources. They're going to get whatever assistance that they need versus your rookie. So it's similar but different, I guess.
Same, but different.
There you go. And then final question, also from Hunter, was
Thank you, Hunter.
please explain what is going on with the Mercedes engine. We don't know.
Elena has said this in the chat so many times. If you aren't trying to break the rules, you're not doing it right. Like for F1, it is called Formula One because the teams are given a formula of what the car is supposed to look like. Basically, you have all of these things have to happen,
Here's your
and
parameters.
here are your parameters. Go build a car. And as long as they hit all of the things that they're supposed to, and like they have like you're supposed to be within this window for this thing and this window for this thing. As long as they are in all of the windows and they have included all of the things that they have to include, great, good job. And so a big thing with F1 is looking for loopholes. What can we work around to make our car look do a little bit better than everybody else's? So Mercedes has found a loophole with their engine. And Red Bull have not found this loophole for themselves, and they're mad about it. And they want it to be ruled illegal, in which case Mercedes would have to fill the loophole and would likely be much slower because they're not going to be able to build a brand new engine that follows all of the rules. They just have to like fill in the loophole. And Red Bull wants that because then they'll go faster than that car. Yeah. So we want you want to find the loopholes. And if it's like last season, McLaren had this rear wing that the way they built it, it would the wind when the wind hit it the right way, it would bend a little bit, but there wasn't anything like the driver wasn't pressing a button to make it happen. And so it was a loophole of what everybody was calling a mini DRS because it was like kind of opening up a little hole and giving them less drag. But it did like it complied with all of the tests that were done on it. And so they were like, nope, this isn't against the rules. But they were also like, but also next year it will be against the rules. So don't do that. But also, since the season hasn't started yet, I think that there is a chance that they would say, no, that's not. Actually, we're going to change the rules right now.
I do think every day that we get closer to Australia, the less likely it becomes that it's going to be illegal.
Agree.
Simply
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you want to have a competition and you want to have an event. If half of your teams, because Mercedes, McLaren, Alpine, and Williams all use the Mercedes engine, if you want to have half of your teams compete at your opening day race, then
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and make it illegal, but like that's not going to be fun for anybody and it's not going to make you any money.
Yeah. Um, so we will see. Look out for news in the next like week or so, I guess, because
I'm
it will
sure hear
either,
it from us.
yeah, it will, I would assume in like the next week or so. And it will be news because it'll either be the FIA have said that that's fine or the FIA have said that it's not. And either way, it will be big news. But yeah, we don't know if they're gonna rule that it's fine or rule that it's the worst.
And some of it's interesting too that you brought up the like mini DRS from the McLaren last year
Yeah.
because a lot of these quote unquote loopholes are more of ways of getting around the way that the regulatory body tests for these things. Last year with the they would test, okay, does this rear wing hold up when we put X amount of weight on it? It doesn't open if we push down on it. Okay, well, the thing was that McLaren figured out it's not about if you push down on it, if you have the wind opening it, it's not going to fail this test, but they're not even looking for this. So that's compliant in their eyes. Same thing is going on with the Mercedes engine right now. So I don't know exactly what they're measuring, but it's some kind of compression ratio in the engine.
Yeah.
They're measuring this when the car is not moving and the engine is running, and the compression ratio has to be within a certain range. But when the engine is running and the car is moving, they're not measuring it, but they can get a better ratio when the car is moving, but that's not when they're measuring it. It's a loophole. Like we said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And that's what these regulations, for the last 50 years have been trying to find the edge of where those
Yeah.
parameters let you operate and maximizing whatever you can, however you can do it with that. So another thing too that we've seen this year on, I believe it's the Alpine, has a different rear wing in the way that it opens for active aero, where most of them flip up. This one is taking the back end and dropping it down. So it works the same way. You're opening the back wing, you're losing less drag here. I guess this is probably better if I have like a visual. So it can drop that way and lift up, or you can have it on here and it can fall away that way, if that makes sense. So again, not illegal, different than other cars, but not illegal.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see in the next couple weeks kind of what shakes out.
Yeah. So we will see. I just did a quick Google search to make sure that nothing has come out. No, nothing yet. So
But yeah, thank you guys for sending
we'll
in
see.
questions.
Have questions throughout the season? Give them to us.
Yeah, we can have a little Omni
Yeah.
segment of this podcast. Keep it relevant. We
And
are a spin-off of the Omni Fantasy podcast,
and will we feature on the Omnipod again?
probably.
Probably.
They know the offer's out there. Yeah. 3 more days of testing coming up this week. And
And we
then
get to watch all of the hours?
that's what my understanding is. I don't know if that's factual information, but I thought I saw that somewhere.
Nope, not a cliff.
Hmm.
See.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll just see what happens in the moment. Uh,
Your Yapper of
you,
the Week page.
oh yes, I was just about to ask you.
I beat you.
My yapper of the week is going to be Max calling the new regulations Formula E on steroids. Um, that, but also all of the like fallout that has come since then of George and Lando being like, okay, then quit.
Yeah,
I live for the drama. That's half the reason that I love this sport.
yeah. Can I give you
Um,
yet another reason for Max being your Yapper of the Week?
he left and went on stream again.
He left and streamed again. He said, I'm done for
Uh,
the day. Hopping on The Sims. Gonna stream it on Twitch.
yeah, so
Um,
um,
and Lando was in the chat because why not?
they're besties. I love it.
Um,
Yeah, so
but for
just
me,
him complaining about that
yeah, no,
is funny,
always
and then the response to that is also
hilarious. Fantastic. For me, I'm gonna go for Lance. They asked him about how, like, any positive takeaways from the day. Meanwhile, he was 4.5 seconds off pace.
they're having
And
a
he
rough
said,
time.
the sun's out, the weather's nice, the livery looks good.
Love
Thank
a
you, Lance.
positive king,
Did he say a single thing about how the car operated? No.
but the glass is still half full.
The glass, it's got water in it.
It's got water in it.
There is water in that glass.
Page pit lane.
Escape it.
Box to retire the pod.